Mr. President.
Senator from Idaho.
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent to speak as if in morning business for up to 15 minutes, a time to be shared between myself and Senator Risch.
Without objection.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Mr. President, Senator Risch and I are here today, and in fact, I would note that we are joined by also our former colleague, Senator Larry Craig, who is here with us as well, to honor one of Idaho's greatest statesmen, who passed away on Saturday. We rise to honor the distinguished life of Senator James A. McClure, a mentor and a dear friend of mine. And as I indicated, Senator Craig is here. Senator Craig is the one who followed Senator McClure in that seat in the United States Senate, and we appreciate him making the effort to get here to also share his concerns and his condolences, and frankly, to help honor Senator McClure. I joined Senator McClure's wife, Louise, and their family and friends, and frankly, all of Idaho, in mourning the passing of Senator McClure and in honoring his great legacy. His sound guidance, strong advocacy for Idaho, and his personal encouragement will be missed by all of us, but definitely not forgotten. Throughout his decades of public service, Jim McClure set a standard for public servants that will endure for generations. Senator McClure dedicated much of his life to honorable service to our nation. At the age of 18, he joined the United States Navy and served honorably in World War II. He then returned to Idaho and attended law school at the University of Idaho, worked as a prosecuting attorney for Payette County, and served in the Idaho State Senate. With 6 years in the U.S. House of Representatives and 18 years in the U.S. Senate, his exemplary service in the United States Congress passed and spanned 24 years. His unfailing goodwill, respect for others, and his essential Western conservatism helped him to maintain throughout his life the kind of service that are still the best model for how to engage in today's public policy debates. He was recognized by all as a gentleman, but a powerful advocate. Senator McClure's legacy as a congressman and senator is broad, and in many issues such as energy and natural resource management, his service to Idaho is historic. Jim utilized his service as chairman of the Senate Committee on Energy and Natural Resources to advocate for Idaho issues and their ideals. He also helped to guide the Senate through his chairmanship of the Senate Republican Conference from 1981 to 1985. Jim worked diligently to achieve solutions to Idaho and national challenges. He also had a forward-thinking focus on fiscal discipline, one that we could well use in the United States Senate today, and on energy independence, another critical issue which we continue to battle for today. These are critical issues that he helped set the foundation for, and frankly, which his wisdom would have helped to solve. Jim was a friend and a role model for me, and I'm sure for many others in Idaho and throughout the nation. His dedication, kind treatment of others, and skillful, proactive, and principled approach are long going to endure. He will be sorely missed, but his lifetime of accomplishments will be with the people of Idaho forever. I offer my sympathy and my love to Louise and to the entire McClure family, and to Jim's many friends and associates. Senator Risch's comments prompted me to think of a time when I was first elected to the United States House of Representatives. Senator McClure had long been counseling and working with me and helping me to see the kind of civility that Senator Risch talked about, and also that strong, powerful leadership that he brought to issues. And when I was first elected to the House of Representatives, I just began thinking, as Senator Risch was talking, about how Jim McClure and Louise invited me to go to dinner. And Jim and Louise sat with me for an evening right here in Washington, D.C. at a local restaurant. And we just talked about politics, about Idaho, about America, about the world, and about how one should lead on issues as they dealt with them in Congress. And I have to tell you, it would take too long to repeat all the lessons that I learned that night that were taught to me by Senator McClure as he made that extra step to reach out. I said in my initial remarks that he was a mentor and a role model for me, and I truly mean that. And I just had to add those comments as I thought about that while Senator Risch was talking. Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that the Senate now proceed to the consideration of Senate Resolution number 78 relative to the death of Senator James A. McClure.
Clerk will report.
S-Res 78 relative to the death of James Albertus McClure, former United States Senator for the state of Idaho.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would note that this resolution was submitted earlier today by Senator Risch and myself, and in fact, our leadership helped in preparing it and bringing it forward, and all 100 senators are co-sponsors of this resolution. I think a fitting tribute to the respect and honor in which Senator James A. McClure is held by this United States Senate. Before I ask unanimous consent, Mr. President, I know that Louise and a number of Senator McClure's family and friends are watching, and this is a short but meaningful resolution. I believe I should read it in its entirety. Relative to the death of James Albertus McClure, former United States Senator for the state of Idaho. Whereas James A. McClure served in the United States Navy during World War II. And whereas James A. McClure served the state of Idaho as a prosecuting attorney, a city attorney, a member of the Idaho State Senate, and as a member of the United States House of Representatives. Whereas James A. McClure served the people of the state of Idaho with distinction for 18 years in the United States Senate. And whereas James A. McClure served the Senate as chairman of the Committee on Energy and Natural Resources in the 97th through the 99th Congresses, and chairman of the Senate Republican Conference in the 97th and 98th Congresses. Whereas James A. McClure served his caucus as a founding member and chairman of the Senate Steering Committee in the 94th through the 96th and the 99th through the 100th Congresses, now therefore be it resolved that the United States has heard with profound sorrow, that the Senate has heard with profound sorrow and deep regret the announcement of the death of the Honorable James Albertus McClure, former member of the United States Senate. Resolved that the Secretary of the Senate communicate these resolutions to the House of Representatives and transmit an enrolled copy thereof to the family of the deceased. And resolved that when the Senate adjourns today, it shall stand adjourned as a further mark of respect to the memory of the Honorable James Albertus McClure. Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that the resolution be agreed to, that the preamble be agreed to, and that the motion to reconsider be laid upon the table.